one program from the very beginning. After that, God told me that to talk to people from TV is one thing, but that I need to go and meet them personally. You know how to help them, tell them, and help them. And God persuaded me to start a church in Kiev, Ukraine. On February 6th, 1994, Word of Faith Bible Church was founded. 8 years had passed since then. Presently, we are one of the largest congregations, not just in Ukraine, but also in Europe. Our church is known as a missionary church. We teach people to spread the good news of the Bible, the word about the cross. Pastor Sunday Adelaja doesn't only preach about joy, faith, and love, but also practices it in his life. He is an impeccable example of the Christian life. Pastor Sunday suggests that all of us are responsible for our families, not only before God, but also before our children. Every man should be a priest in his family. God is love. He sent us to this world, and He wants us, everybody, to be happy inside and outside. God gave to Pastor Sunday a wonderful wife, tender and loving. She gives all her love to her husband and 2 children.
You're watching the Embassy of God program.
Jesus is the Lord of Ukraine. Now is a special time of God's mercy outpouring in Ukraine, when it is possible to restore people's lives in a short time. We have entered a new millennium. Pastor Sunday has a cherished dream to bring 5 million people to Jesus Christ, to raise them up as God's ministers and send them as missionaries all over the world. Pastor Sunday is full of energy. He travels a lot, preaches all over the world, and writes books. He has already written more than 30 books where you can find answers on vitally important questions. Not long ago, we had a men's conference here in Kiev. It was called The Man of a Higher Calling. We discussed the role of a man in society, his responsibility before his family, which is actually a small cell of society. Sunday Adelaja is a pastor reformer. Nowadays, his name is very well known among Christians. He is a gifted leader, beloved guest in churches of Russia, Belarus, Georgia, Latvia, and many other countries. He came to Christ at the age of 19, and in 15 years became senior pastor of the Word of Faith Bible Church, with more than 20,000 people in it. He has made a great contribution in the revival of spirituality of the Ukrainian nation.
You're watching the Embassy of God program.
I am the happiest man alive. I have joy without drugs. I am happy. I have a job and a future. Now we are a happy family. We have joy and we know our future. I have joy in my life, and now I am able to bring this joy to others through service at the Rehabilitation Center. Who are these people? How can this joy exist in such oppressive circumstances? Today, Ukraine leads Eastern Europe in the spread of the AIDS epidemic. According to an official source, there are 36,000 people infected with HIV virus. But according to statistics of World Health Organization, the quantity of HIV infected is over 300,000. This virus came into the sphere of drug addicts by the use of dirty syringes and needles. The virus is communicable through blood. The result? Hundreds of drug addicts becoming infected with AIDS. According to the calculations of the Institute of Economics of the Ukrainian Academy of Science, in the year 2016, more than 2 million people will die from AIDS in Ukraine alone. Those in greatest danger are drug addicts and alcoholics. Is there any way out? I want to tell you there is nothing impossible for God. That is why today is a day of fighting with AIDS. We would like to tell everyone to turn to God. I am grateful to God and for the Rehabilitation Center, part of Word of Faith Church. I went through the program and now I am free. Before this, I was treated in different clinics and hospitals, but nothing could help me. Now I am happy. God gave me life and a happy family. I am grateful to God. The people are proclaiming, Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. In the rehabilitation center called Lubov, meaning love, more than 1,000 people have been delivered from the addictions to nicotine, alcohol, and narcotics. It is not just a figure, but the restored destiny of each person and their family. And they are filled with understanding and love. I hit rock bottom. I was dying, having no chance, no purpose. I was going nowhere. Jesus gave me a completely new life. I have a wife and a child. I have more joy than ever before. I was delivered completely and haven't used drugs for 4 years. I no longer have the nightmares or obsession. My family is happy and full of joy. We are all saved and attend church regularly. Thanks to Jesus, I am happy. The people are shouting, "There is a way. Jesus is love. He is Lord." My family held me by the hand and brought me to church because I couldn't walk. In this church, God delivered me from the addiction to drugs. I have been free for 6 years, and now I live a normal life. The people proclaim, Jesus is love. Jesus is the answer.
You're watching the Embassy of God program.
Word of Faith Church is putting the Bible to practice. Numerous pastors planning churches of thousands have come from Word of Faith. Over 500,000 people have given their lives to Jesus. Currently, more than 17,000 people are regular members. It is not something we have been told or an idea thrust upon us. No, it is something we have experienced, something we have heard with our own ears, seen with our own eyes. Jesus is life. How I wish all Ukrainians could know that there is life in the Ukraine through Jesus Christ. US dollars will not help us. In the USA, extremely wealthy people have one of the highest rates of suicide. Money doesn't bring life. Life is from God. The people shout, Jesus loves you.
Я верю, что именно президент и власти, они сейчас нуждаются в единстве христианства.
I know that Christians have great potential in assisting the government and opening rehabilitation centers, working with HIV-infected people, drug addicts, alcoholics, and homeless children.
Работу с людьми, которые зависимы от СПИДа, с детьми беспризорными, с теми людьми, которые в алкоголизме. Нам только нужно соединиться, и чтобы правительство вышло нам навстречу.
The people chant, Jesus is the answer. I am 24 years old, and for 4 years I used heroin, smoked, and drank. I am here to say that God delivered me. I couldn't help myself. I was in the hospital but found no healing. Only God could help me. Thank God I am saved and delivered.
Я думаю, что я достойный гражданин нашего государства и этого общества.
I am an honest citizen of Ukraine. God healed me from drugs. I cannot put my feelings into words. My heart is filled with joy. I'm abiding in God's love, a feeling that cannot be matched by drugs.
Я был зависим от наркотиков.
I was addicted to drugs for 3 years, but God healed me. God delivered me in an instant, and now I live for Him, with my family and my 2 children. It feels so good. There was no way out. Medical treatment and your own willpower cannot help you. I made a decision to stop, so I quit. But in reality, nothing could help me. God saved me, and I am thankful with all my heart. I am 20 years old. For the past 5 years, I was a drug addict. I did not go to receive medical treatment because I knew it was no good. God healed me, and I love Him for it. Now I look like a normal woman and speak properly without cursing and swearing. God healed me of an ulcer, and I feel wonderful. I thank God because I am now a true person. It is difficult to describe what a mother goes through when her child becomes a drug addict. You look at your child and see the living dead. When I asked the doctors for help, they told me there was no cure for the addiction to narcotics. I was told the maximum period he could live would be 10 years, unless he died of AIDS or from an overdose. 1 month later, I refused to accept that my son, a student, at the age of 21, needed to die. So I came to Word of Faith. What has happened here is not something money can buy. These people are not being paid, as is usually the case in Ukraine for demonstration or ceremony. These people came full of fire and the love of God.
You're watching the Embassy of God program.
The people are shouting, Jesus loves you. People must know what churches actually do, and first of all, what God does. The people proclaim, Jesus is the answer. We will pray for our president.